ॐ ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ॐ निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ भवता जनता सुहिता भविता निजबोधविचारणचारुमते कलयेश्वर जीवविवेकविदं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्। ओं परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रुतिमात्रे नमः। समस्त ब्रह्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः। श्री वेदव्यास वैशंपायन याज्ञवल्क्य आद्य शंकरादि ब्रह्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। परब्रह्मणः श्रुतिमातुः गुरूणां देवतानां कृपया उपनिषदुक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधस्य अस्मिन् क्षणे एव सिद्ध्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिकसंस्कृतेः पुनरुत्थानजागरणविश्वव्याप्त्यर्थं विश्वशान्तिकल्याण एकता प्राप्त्यर्थं सनातनधर्मभक्तसेवकसाधकानां विघ्नशत्रुनिवारणशक्तिसाधना सम्पदा प्राप्तिद्वारेण धर्मसंस्थापनकार्ये निर्विघ्नविजयप्राप्त्यर्थं श्री उपनिषदः पारायणम् आद्य शंकर भाष्य समेत अध्ययनं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे। आदौ पारायणम्। We have to chant in the Tritiya Bhruvalli Anna Brahma Upasanam for our chanting. Just focus, enjoy, try to improve upon in everyday's chanting, or at least definitely chant and put the mind when we are chanting, whether to observe whether we are doing correct chanting or not. See to it that there are no mistakes. If possible, follow the swara, concentrate. That itself is a great sadhana. Om annam na nindyat tadvratam prano va annam shariramannadam prane shariram pratishthitam sharire prana pratishtitah तदेतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं स य एतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं वेद प्रतितिष्ठति अन्नवानन्नादो भवति महान् भवति प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेन महान् कीर्त्या अन्नं न परिचक्षीत तद्व्रतम् आपो वा अन्नम् ज्योतिरन्नादम् अप्सु ज्योतिः प्रतिष्ठितं ज्योतिष्याप प्रतिष्ठिताः तदेतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं स य एतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं वेद प्रतितिष्ठति अन्नवानन्नादो भवति महान् भवति प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेन महान् कीर्त्या अन्नं बहुकुर्वीत तद्व्रतं पृथिवी वा अन्नम् आकाशोन्नदः पृथिव्यामाकाश प्रतिष्ठितः आकाशे पृथिवी प्रतिष्ठिता तदेतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं स य एतदन्नमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं वेद प्रतितिष्ठति अन्नवानन्नादो भवति महान् भवति प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेन महान् कीर्त्या Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Atha Shri Krishna Yajurvedantargata Taittiriya Aranyakantargata Taittiriya Upanishad. Om Yasmat Jatam Jagat Sarvam Yasminneva Pradiyate Yene Dandharyate Chaiva Tasmai Jnanatmane Namaha. Yainime Guruvi Purvam Padavakya Pramanatah व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते शान्तिमन्त्रः ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मावादिशं ऋतमवादिशं सत्यमवादिशं तन्मामावीत तद्वक्तारमावीत आवीन्माम् आवेद्वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ओम अथ द्वितीया ब्रह्मानंदवल्ली शांति मंत्रः ओम सहनाववतो सहनौ भुनक्तो सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ओम शांति शांति शांतिः अथ प्रथमोऽनुवाकः ॐ ब्रह्मविदाप्नोति वरं तदेशाभ्युक्ता सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तं ब्रह्म यो वेदनिहितं गुहायां परमे व्योमन् सोऽश्नुते सर्वान् कामान् सह ब्रह्मणा विपश्चिते ते तस्माद्वा एतस्मादात्मन आकाशः सम्भूतः आकाशाद्वायुः वायोरग्निः अग्नेरावः अद्भ्यः पृथिवी पृथिव्या ओषधयः ओषधीभ्योऽन्नम् अन्नात् पुरुषः स वा एष पुरुषोऽन्नरसमयः तस्येदमेव शिरः अयं दक्षिणः पक्षः अयमुत्तरः पक्षः अयमात्मा इदं पुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. So, saluting to the Rishi Parampara, Guru Parampara, all the Devata Parampara, Brahma Vidya Acharya Parampara, especially these Upanishad Gurus of Veda Vyasa, Vaishampayana, Yagnavalkya, and our Bhashyakara Adi Shankara. Salutations to Shruti Mata, to Parabrahma Swarupa. If you see that second Brahmananda Valli, we started studying the sequence of thoughts is so simple, so wonderful. But to understand it, we have to ponder deeply. What exactly is meant by Shruti Mata can be conveyed to us only by those masters who have experienced what is said in the Shruti Mata. And one of them is Bhagwan Sri Adi Shankara. So he, to help us first to understand the Upanishad, second, while understanding, not to misunderstand Upanishad, third, to understand completely both the Lakshya as well as the Marga indicated by the Upanishad or Shruti Mata for a Jiva or a seeker sadhaka for his final emancipation. How every word has to be understood for sadhana, if that word is indicating sadhana, every word has to be how it should be understood if it is explaining about the sadhya. Bhagavan Adi Shankara's work is to, like a doctor, see that the symptom, the pain goes away of the patient, then the disease goes away of the patient, then the immunity of the patient is developed, then the weakness is removed, and the strength is given, all in all, to make the person healthy. In the same way, Bhagavan Adi Shankara's help of commenting on The Upanishad mantras are for this purpose. That we are in Bhavaroga, we must go to the doctor, the Shruti Mata. But how when we go to Shruti Mata, have to understand every aspect of those mantras in which Sadhya is told the Lakshya, Sadhana is told the means, then the Lakshan, the Arhata or the qualification told, and while doing sadhana, what could be the probable obstacles that come, how to cross them. This is how Bhagavan Shankara's effort in trying to explain to us the Bhashya. And through Bhashyam, slowly we understand the mantras that are there in the Upanishad to such an extent that it appeals to us, that it is sensible, it is meaningful, it has something to offer to us, rather, it has everything to offer to us. Slowly, as we get unfolded with our regular study, contemplation, to this understanding we come to. Now, if we really see the Upanishad mantra itself, keeping Bhagavan's Bhashya behind, the mantra itself are self-explanatory as regard their outer literal meaning connection is concerned. So first is what a human being should try to achieve the highest. That highest is Param. So Param Apnoti. We should be Apnoti of the Param, not the Avaram. We should attain the supreme, the ultimate. What is the meaning of supreme ultimate obtaining is beyond that, after that, other than that, there is nothing should remain to be achieved. So too, it should give the complete contentment and satisfaction so that there are no more further feelings of missing something, therefore, no need of any efforts. So, in experience of completeness, it should be blissful. There is nothing lacking in it. Therefore, no need of any further any type of efforts. That state of experience is called as Paramapnoti. So, Shruti Mata said, who will be obtaining that Parama Anubhuti? Brahmavitu. So, feel the sentence of that meaning of that sentence. Brahmavit apnoti param. The one who knows Brahman will be obtaining the ultimate. Tadesha abhi ukta. About this Brahman, which we just now heard when Shruti Mata said, the obtaining of which gives the obtaining of the Supreme, is explained in Rug Mantra as what? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. He is of the nature of, that Brahman is of the nature of the Lakshana of Satyam Jnanam Anantam. So, if you say that both sentences together, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma with Apnoti Param. Then, immediately, without delay and without elaboration, this much we can understand is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. The one who doesn't apnoti, he will apnoti aparam only, doesn't vijanati, sorry, navetti. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma na veda chet param na apnoti. And para apnoti only gives the trupti. Para apnoti is not obtained at the lower level, there will be no trupti. When there is no trupti, there is always, what do you say, the struggle in the life. Therefore, these two sentences should make us inspired to obtain the Brahma Vidya. Bhashyakara's Bhashya sorts out all the tentative doubts, questions they may arise while we study them. So he has tackled them. We need to study them repeatedly to keep our minds, intellects always in that mood. A life should be totally dedicated for the study of Upanishads through Bhagavan's Bhashya. Only then we are totally in that mood to be entering deeply in contemplation, to reach out to the core of the experience, to give us which the entire Upanishadic literature is aiming at. Now we are just going through one round. A glance we are having a bird's eye view, but it never sufficient even to understand the literal meaning about Bhashyartha and beyond that the sadhana and siddhi. Anyway, we are starting. Definitely we take up that second step of deep study also seriously Then the third step of doing our sadhana truly, no doubt. So then once we are convinced, Brahma vidapnoti param satyam jnanandam Brahma, then exhaustively, what is the meaning of satyam, what is the meaning of jnanam, what is the meaning of anantam, they were explained. And all these three words explanation, which are this Rupa Lakshana of the Brahman, please remember, it is not any object of the world. It is not any experience of the world. It is not any experiencer of the worldly objects. It is something beyond. That is why the difficulty in understanding it, in trying it, though it is our own self. And again, we should not blame that it is difficult. The difficulty is not in it. The difficulty is in our own lifestyle so far we were living, with which all our intellects have become dull. All our antakaranas have become totally the object oriented. This Brahman is subject. And all our understandings are always sthula, maybe sometimes sukshma, but not atyanta sukshma. Because of our personality presently, that this Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Apti is appearing to be very difficult. So we have to sort out. For that, all the external, internal sadhanas to be done. Then, as Bhashyakara explaining, we have to follow that path of contemplation to become Brahmaveta, after which we become the obtainer of Param Supreme. Then immediately a question comes, where to know that Brahman, the Upalabdhi Sthanam. And then you said Param Apnoti. Can you elaborate on that? These two are taken up in this next portion of the mantra, which we started yesterday. Slowly we are climbing that pahad of understanding it. It being very subtle, it's being very, very crucial, very, very important for a true spiritual journey and evolution. So we are going slowly in this regard. So first, the literal meaning or the main mantra, then its literal meaning, then what is deeply indicated through them. Bhashyakara will help us to understand. So first the mantra is what? Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. These are complete sentence. Yo Veda. Yo Veda, whoever knows. What is that which is to be known? We have to say what was said earlier. Tad yatha vyakyatam Brahma. Shankara Bhagavan has helped us. That Brahma which so far was vyakyatam, elaborately explained, that Brahma yo Veda, whoever knows it. And knows it, where is it found? Nihitam Guhayam. What is it? We have seen it, again we will see. Which is hidden in the Guha. So Nihitam word is obvious, that it is hidden, it is covered. Guha is the one we have to truly understand, because that is where this Brahman is said to be available for our cognition. So that Guha Shabda Spashta Rupena we have to understand. Therefore, Bhashyakara will help us. And that help is so helpful for our true meditation to reach to the Brahma, which is already understood as Satyam Jnanam Anantam, as ourselves. Then Parame Vyoman. So Vyoman means Vyomni, Parame Vyomni. In that supreme Akasha, which is in the Guha, in that is Nihitam, is Sthitam, stationed, is that Brahma which has been so far explained. So that Brahma which was explained as Satyajnanamanantam is very much stationed in the supreme space of the cave of the heart, Guha of the heart. Each word we have to be clear in our intellectual grasping, then only we can meditate. Like somebody says something about some person. If you intellectually are not applying yourself, then whatever is said you don't understand. Then you can't recognize that person. So here also each word has to be understood. Then only what is meditation will be clear to us. Before that, what is the phala? Phala also is very elaborately, deeply to be understood. Of reaching to this Brahman or knowing this Brahman in the cave of our heart. And it is so beautifully, exhaustively explained by the Bhavan Bhashyakara. What is a phala we get when we discover the Brahman in our heart. The Shruti Mata's word is so shnute sarvan kaman saha brahmana vipaschiteti. It means the most important thing is over. We have explained to you. So saha, yaha goes with saha. Whoever discovers the Brahman in his own cave of the heart, saha, he ashnute, bhunkte, he enjoys. What? So sarvan kama. You have to understand it. All the kamanas, saha, some substantially, simultaneously. He will enjoy all the kamanas simultaneously is the most important thing to be understood, because that alone will inspire us to go for it again. That param is explained here. Brahmavidapnoti param, no? What is param? Ashrute sarvan kaman saha. Why the Shrutimata will have to tell in that language of Ashrute sarvan kaman? Because all we the seekers are the jivas. Throughout life, what we are pursuing, only that which we have in our mind as kamana. And because of the kamana, we are going only behind the kamya vastus. Is it not? Therefore, it's better to tell them in their own language. Therefore, sarvan kaman ashnute. So, no kamana is left without being experienced by that person. Now, this is a very lowest level. The highest is what? The most important word in this explanation is saha. Sarvan kaman saha ashnute. All the experiences of all the joys you will experience simultaneously. How is it so? Bhashyakara will tell us. And it's very enchanting, little subtler. We have to drop some notions and we have to become little tuned to the Shruti Mata to catch it. Once it is caught, it's so beautiful it is. Then why Sarvan Kaman Saha Ashnute? Because Brahmana Vipaschita. Because he has discovered himself to be that Brahman, and Vipaschita, he is now the Brahman conscious. Because he is a conscious Brahman now, because Brahmavit Brahma Bhavati. So I knew the Brahman now, I have become the Brahma, that Brahman is conscious self. Because of the conscious self Brahma, all Anubhutis I have simultaneously. How is it so? We have to sort out. It's a very intellectual thing. Very rarely this most important topic is touched or elaborately explained or studied. Bhashyakara is going to help us now. One by one we'll see. Now first thing we have to understand is Guhayam. Because earlier things were already said yesterday. What we have seen, Yo Veda Vijanati. Veda means Vijanati means experiences. Please remember. In Vedanta, intellectual knowledge, though is a means or given, intellectually we have to inquire, but never ever the phala is said to be only intellectual knowledge. Phala is always anubhuti. Yat sakshat avaroksha brahma. Therefore, here nihitam means what? Veda means what? Vijanati. Doubtlessly, we must accept Vijanati means experiences as one's own self. Yo Veda, yo Vijanati. So Veda means Vijanati means directly experiences that Brahman has his own self. Never ever have any doubt with the meaning of the word Veda. Veda means Vijanati. Vijanati is not objectively, intellectually understanding. It will never give moksha. All the philosophers should have been liberated by now. Those who have not only studied these Veda mantras along with Upanishad mantra and Bhashyam, to thousands of students they taught. Every philosopher must be mukta. If with his intellectual understanding he gets mukti. But not so. So there Vijanati Veda means Anubhuti. I am that Brahman. Yo Veda, Yo Vijanati is touched. Now, Nihitam is always clear. Sthitam, stationed there, as a waiting for us. Therefore, that Brahma is very much there, which we have to experience. So, that is the meaning of Yo Veda Nihitam. And whoever does it so, He will be obtaining Sarvan Kaman, all that is the connection. Now, where to find him? Answer is Nihitam ho gaya Guhayam. So, that Guhayam Sthitam Brahma Yaha Atma Swarupena Ved. That Brahman who is stationed in the Guha, whoever knows that Brahman as his own self, for him Ashrute Sarvan Kaman, or for him Apnoti Param. Supreme he will achieve. There is nothing beyond that for him to achieve. And there in that achievement of ultimate, all efforts, all struggles, all worries, all tensions, all conditionings, all limitations, every one of them, once for all, they go away. That's called supreme. So, should we not be tempted for going for it? This is what is the meaning of understanding such explanations. That, like any advertisement you see, the purpose of it is to tempt you to buy. So, in the worldly achievements, there are so many options are there, ifs and buts. Things are there many, you may not want, you may not like it. In Brahman, it should not be like that. There's no question of wanting or not wanting, liking or not liking, or there is an alternative. You should like it, you should want it, and there is no alternative. Why? Because it is Paramam or Supreme. More so, as a human, we have the possibility to achieve it, and even more clearly said, we are human beings only to achieve it. If to this level of intellectual conviction we come to that as a human being, I must achieve the Brahma Anubhuti, then the great efforts of Shastras and Guru are fulfilled in our life. Our study also is fulfilled. I, as a human being, should not pursue anything other than Brahma. I must pursue and experience Brahma. If this knowledge or conviction comes up, the struggle of our studying Upanishads is to a great extent fulfilled. Half of it is done. Now, when the conviction comes, then the next stage is without any struggling about the outer world, only our effort now is how and why, how and where, how to achieve, where is it. Such seeker has no more pulls from the world outside because he is aiming at it. Why we are being pulled into the world? One is the attraction of the world. Second is we have not aimed at wanting to discover our own essential nature, ब्रह्म तत्व. उसको हम पोस्टपोन कर रहे हैं, उसको हम वैल्यू नहीं कर रहे हैं. Because we never studied Upanishads, never it is told to us anywhere otherwise. So now you and I are studying. We should apnoti param, that is possible only Brahma Vidya. Therefore, through Brahma Vidya, param supreme obtainment should be the single pointed agenda in our life. Can we achieve to this? By our own efforts. God's Guru's grace is almost every time there in the form of giving us these satsangs. But can we? And how it should express like such person has no more any desire to obtain anything other than Brahman in this world. Like Hanuman ji. Anything you give, he says, उसमें राम है तो दे दो, नहीं है तो नहीं चाहिए. इनफैक्ट राम ऑलरेडी उनमें है भरपूर, therefore उनकी दृष्टि कहीं बाहर जाती नहीं. Only first time he accepted something, that also from Mother Sita ji, that also out of obligation. That hara which he gave. But he just broke it with his teeth, breaking, and looking for Rama in that. It both ways. If the Rama is there, he takes Rama and throws it. If the Rama is not there, what is the use of that throne? Now, this example of Hanumanji should be a very clear thing. For us to understand that we have to become the jignasu of the Brahman only. Anything other than Brahman, neither we need to know. When we don't need to know it, then why would we need to obtain it? Or we don't need to obtain it because it's not Param. And when we need not obtain it, why should we know about it? And most important is what? This Brahman is Nihitam Guhayam, place. He's inside only, not outside. To begin with, to discover. After discovering inside, he will be found everywhere. Without discovering inside, don't imagine that he is outside somewhere and I am pursuing him. And like that, don't cheat yourself. Like what? Brahman is there everywhere. Therefore, he is there in the TV also. So I am trying to discover Brahman in TV, discover Brahman in the Vishyas. Although he is everywhere there, but that's after knowing him in our own heart. Don't get cheated like that. Why? He is everywhere there, therefore I am discovering here and there. A lesser developed, impure, crooked intellect sometimes justifies the worldliness. That's why the specificity of the Upanishad Mata to say that this Brahman is Nihitam Guhayam, not anywhere. First to discover as the Upalabdhi Sthanam. Inevitably, therefore, Avurta Chakshuhu we have to become. We have to close all the windows of its senses and the other antakarana which were leaking our attention outside. We have to become introverted to discover. In this way, it should be clear. I want Param, that is only through Brahman. Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That Satyam Jnanam Ananta Brahma I have to discover as myself. That is happening inside the Guha. Therefore, I should no more go outside. This much. Very, very systematic. Very, very clear we have to be. Very unambiguous. Then, when it is said Nihitam, where is it Nihitam? Guhayam. Now we have to very clearly understand Guha. Here, two meanings are given to us. Both are given in the Shastras, Upanishads. But in that, one meaning is valid in this context. Therefore, stick to this meaning only. The other meaning is valid in the other Upanishad, and that context was where? The different one. Now, here, why then, if that is not the meaning here, you are referring, because when you study that Upanishad, when this one said here like this, and it is said there like that, you may get confused. You may get doubt. So, to remove the doubt and confusion, we are bringing or referring that also here and denying that here in this context, the meaning of Goa is not that, sir. Meaning of Goa is this. Okay. Now, the straight meaning is what? Guha, nihitam guhayam. गुहायाम निहितम इज व्हाट? एक केव के अंदर छुपा है, ऐसा नहीं समझना. Here guha means covered. So be attentive. Covered in the, be attentive, habitual misunderstanding, covered in the habitual wrong behavior of this buddhi and its functions. This is called as guha there. Guhate samvarnarthasya. Now, what is guha? Guha is buddhi only. What is buddhi? Why it is called as guha? Because in this buddhi are continuously happening these three. Because of these three things continuously happening, which is called as buddhi, that, be attentive, the Brahman is hidden. Where? In the happening of these three things continuously. Brahman is nowhere as an object, is inside that guha as if. Therefore, when these three things are arrested or removed, then what is experienced is Brahman. Like, as we told you so many times, the waves are covering the water. If you can understand this example, you understand what is said here. Waves are covering the water. Therefore, wave is the guha for the Brahma. Therefore, in the wave, guhate samvarnarthasya guha, the water is hidden. Then what is to be done to discover the water? The waveness, when it is stopped, what was there appearing as wave is the water is discovered. In the same way, the Paramatma alone is covered by the buddhi, which is functioning as the triputi of Jnatru Jnana Gneyam. So here the covering means what? Not allowing us to experience the Brahman. What? Buddhi. Why? Because of its behavior of what? Of triputi. Therefore, how do we discover Brahman? When the buddhi is transcended. Buddhi-ness is transcended. How the buddhi-ness is transcended? What are the buddhi is expressing? As Jnatru Jnana Gneya. Therefore, if the Jnatru Jnana Gneya concepts are transcended, then the buddhi is transcended. Then what we experience there is the Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, not known, is appearing as the buddhi and triputi. Now we are lost in it. That's called samsara, avara prapti. Now, when we consciously do the sadhana of arresting these three, then we experience the Brahman, which is very much there itself. And because it is we are at the stage of triputi of the buddhi, it becomes our responsibility to stop them. Therefore, what's meditation then? Should be never forgotten throughout life. Meditation is to be able to transcend the expression of buddhi as jnatru jnana jnaya, after which the ever eternally present satyam jnanamanandam brahma is experienced as our own self. Therefore, that is what said here. Nigudaha asyam jnana jnaya jnatrupada arthaha iti buddhi. Therefore, guha means buddhi here. In that, Brahman is covered. How the Brahman is covered? By this triputi of Jnatru Jnana Jnaya. Therefore, as long as we are in the Jnana Jnatru Jnaya triputi experience, which is there in Jagrat and Swapna, in the Sushupti इसका बीज अवस्था में चला जाना होता है. So as long as we are in these two hours, this is the avastha of this triputi, Brahman is always hidden. To feel the meaning of it. Therefore, when I am in the state of contemplation, all my effort is to withdraw from this Jnatru Jnana Jnaya Triputi. If you can achieve it by one or the other means, then you will experience there the Satyam Jnanavantam Brahma, which is Nihitam, which is staying there always, which is as if waiting for us. So therefore, the Turiyavastha is Satyam Jnanavantam Brahma, in which the Triputi is not there. When that's not experienced, we are at the level of Buddhi Anubhava Triputi, which is this Jagrata and Swapna. In Layavastha, this Triputi का जो भी संस्कार वासनाएं हैं वो होते हैं. That's Nidraavastha, we call it as. So, Nigudaha Asyam Jnana Jnaya Jnatru Padartaha iti Guha Buddhi. Okay. Now, this Buddhi Antakarana, which is called as Hridaya also, why it is called as Guha? Another meaning is said. What is that? Gudau Asyam. In this are the two things, the hidden dual case. What are they? Bhoga Apavargau Purusharthau Itiva. For the other reason also, the Buddhi is called as Guha. What is the other reason? In this Buddhi only are these two concepts of Bhoga of Sukha Dukkha called Samsara, Apavarga, freedom from this Sukha Dukkha or Samsara. Please, Vedanta का main point समझना. Paramatma has never become anything, nor is lost, nor is gone anywhere. It is always there. Like the health never goes away, it is always there. Impurity of the water never goes away, it is always pure. In the water, some contaminating things come. When that alum is added, that contamination is taken to the bottom of the water. So too, the body's healthy condition is tentatively as if disturbed by the bacteria. Then the antibiotic comes and removes it and it also goes away. In the same way, avidya has never destroyed Brahman. Avidya is only not allowing us to recognize the Brahman. Okay. Therefore, as long as avidya is there, Brahman is not recognized. Therefore, what is to be done? The avidya has to be removed. Who removes it? Vidya. So what Vidya does is removal of avidya. Like what the alum does is settles the impure material. Water is always pure. Pure water which is always is experienced. Because the tentative contaminating things were settled down because of the added alum. In the same way, we are bound in the Sukha Dukkha Bhoga, which is a concept of the intellect. This is removed by this is a concept of intellect out of ignorance. The Vidya, which is called as Apavarga. See, the Pavarga and Apavarga. So, Pavarga ka Bhoga is Samsara, then Pavarga ka Apavarga is Moksha. Pa means Papam. Papam is punyam also, because both are taking us away from Paramatma. For and it's phala. And then phala ke liye you have to go to the bandhana of the different jagats or the yoni or deha. And that you continue as if taking it as real. It is called as bha. All put together go on happening. It's called ma. It's called moha or maya. Pa, papa, fa, phala, ba, bandhana, bha, bhava, ma is maya. This is called a pa, pa, ba, bhama. It's called a pavarga. Pavarga is this bhoga. Apavarga is moksha. Bhoga is samsara. So, the pure as a pure self, I am never bound or never removed. But the bondage also an intellectual concept, liberation also intellectual concept. But it is required. As long as I am feeling I am bound, so long the concept of the liberation has to be entertained. After that entertaining of liberation concept, the bondage concept is removed, then we discover that we as a self were never bound. Because self can never be bound. If it is bound, or if it is changing, or if it is destroyed, then it is never available. Therefore, nobody will discover the self and become mukta. Whereas anyone who tried for discovering self, they discovered, all of them discovered in the same way. Therefore, it indicates that self is never changed or disturbed or bound. वो हमेशा वैसा है. Again and again, we give the same example. सूर्य भगवान को कुछ नहीं होता. He is always there. The clouds cover him from our vision. So the wind, when it blows, it removes the clouds. Then always existing Bhagavan Surya we experience. Throughout the day also. Surya is always in the horizon. We only made 10, 20, 30 storied building in that 5 bedrooms, in that inner bedroom. There we are hidden. We are only covering ourselves from the Surya Darshana with all this. Pura nikal do, you are always exposed to the sunlight. Now I am here. Sunlight is always on me, but I only am having myself put in the walls. If all these are removed, of course, with the permission of the owner, then I am direct with Surya. So what is said here? Bhoga pavargau concepts also are there in buddhi. That buddhi is called as guha because in these three are there. So ignorance that I am jiva and I am deha is removed by the knowledge that I am not the jiva, I am not the deha. Then who are you? Already eternally existing Brahma, whose nature is Satyam Jnana Ananta. The example of this bell or the cow tied with a rope which is not there, with an action which is not actually done. Do you remember that? And again untying it next day. It was never tied, but there is an appearance of tying. Therefore, though there is no untying there, but then we have to act like that. Then only that buffalo or the cow will get up in the same way. So, bhoga, apavarga, both of them are only intellectual concepts. To the self, nothing happened. Never ever anything. That immaculate self eternally is. That's why it is ashabdam asparsham nirguna nirakar. ये शब्द क्यों कहते हैं उसके लिए? क्योंकि it is never touched by anything anytime. So gudhau asyam bhogapavargau purushartho itiva tasyam. So means what? Both samsara, both bandhana, moksha, both are substantiated by the one Parabrahma, which is never bound, which is never needed to be liberated. Liberation is not to Brahman, he is never bound. It is to me who myself, instead of discovering myself as a Brahma, without, because of avidya, taking myself to be Jiva and Deha. It's for me the moksha. And the very difficult thing to understand is the moksha for me is my own suicide. And beautiful, even after suicide, I live. And that life is real life. That real life is Aham Brahmasmi. See, the river is suiciding. And only to discover its oneness with the ocean. Our problem is what? because of the long time of attention on the river as an independent entity, separate from the ocean. We are not able to drop the concept that the river can never be independent. It is basically caused from the ocean only. The real reality of the river is ocean only. ये दिमाग में आराम से नहीं चढ़ता. क्यों? क्योंकि as a river we named it, we called it, we contacted it, we have interacted with it. Therefore so many things have made, though the unreal the river is as real. So too I as a jiva with upadhi living so many lives that I find that as a jiva only I am real. And in fact, this jiva is unreal. The substratum for the jiva, that Brahman is real I. It's like the youngsters or anybody, when they get the friends outside, for them the friends become closer, their own brother, sister, or family members they neglect. What a funny thing, is it not? Whereas the family members are the ones who are concerned for that boy or person and are taking care of everything, especially the parents. और उसकी दृष्टि वो जाती नहीं. So too married, he is so much lost into the wife, forget that the parents are the ones who have brought up. He never remembers that throughout the parents are alive, he should first give importance to them. उनको कहते नहीं, शादी होते ही गया बस. In the same way, this thing we have to sort out. This sorting out is the basis of spiritual sadhana. What is that? Basically, the river should know that is an ocean. For some reason, it is behaving as a wave, as a river. It is suffering the pangs of the river of running, running, running. All that ends only when it discovers itself as the ocean. For that, it should drop its riverness. So too, my real nature is Brahma. As a jiva with the deha, whatever acting I am doing outside is all illusory and limited and the giver of dukkha. Like many a time you see ना, इस बंदे से उस बंदे से बात करके हर तरह का टाइम वेस्ट ही नुकसान हो रहा है. It is all waste of that. Don't we withdraw from all those things? In the same way, Jiva Bhava is not real, Atma Bhava is real. If that education was given to us right from the beginning, we would have really got convinced by now and we could have pursued our Brahma Swarupa and even reached that. What is done through our education system, what is done throughout our interactions at home, and whatever the training is given at home, in the school, and everywhere in the society is you are Deha, you are Jiva only. Nobody is telling you are Brahman. Then we took it as real. The Brahma Swarupa is totally neglected only. It is as if something different हमसे उसको संबंध नहीं है, उसको और कहीं रख के जो हम नहीं है वही हमको बताया जा रहा है. And you can't even raise slogans कि अब से पहले स्कूल में हम ब्रह्मास्मि पढ़ाओ. They laugh at it as if it's a concept. It is a time pass. It's only philosophy. It has nothing to do with the life. On the other hand, because of forgetting the real self, and therefore because living as the jiva, that also as a deha, that all problems are coming to me because of me, coming to me because of the world, and going to the world because of me. But they don't want to trace this problem. Only the Upanishadic rishis have traced. Individual, total, communal, universal, all problems are when anyone takes himself as Jiva Deha, considers others also the so, there is always comparison, competition, attachments, aversions. The entire samsara, go, use our till you discover the Brahma. That is how the rishis discovered it. They gave it to us through the Upanishads. But for us, the mukti giving Upanishad is a far off subject, need not be studied, and the continuously binding worldly things, we call it as Vidya or education, we are lost in it. See that Maya, see the Moha. Let the whole world be in that. We need not worry. At least we should now be clear. I am suffering as a jiva through the deha in the world with various karma phala. I don't want, I should not want, I should go away from it. I should transcend. How? When I discover my own essential self, which is Satyam Jnananda Brahma, where nihitam guhaya. Okay. Therefore, so far, what is understanding? In the concept of Jnatru Jnana Jnaya Veda, called as the Buddhi, the Brahman, which is eternally is there, is concealed. The moment we drop these three things is called as meditation. That the Brahman is experienced. The drop the ornamentness, you will see the gold. Drop the partness, you see the mud. Drop the waveness, you see the water. Drop the triputi of Jnatru Jnana Jnaya, you are a Brahman. These three are only concepts valued by us, therefore they appear to be real. We value it, therefore it is there. And because it is there, it is not allowing us the Brahman to be realized. We value the wave, therefore the water is not appearing. Whereas water alone is there. We value ornament, therefore gold is not appearing. Whereas gold alone is there. This has to be repeatedly, we have to go on saying to us. Then a day will come where definitely on the seat of meditation, I'll transcend this trio. And how many millions of trios are happening every moment? And all those are this pramana, vipare, vikalpa, nidra, smrti, trios, vrittis, which we are going to study in Yoga Darshanam. Then you have to do the nirodha of them. In Vedanta, by being the sakshi of them very strongly, without valuing all the three, then they are dissolved. इन योग मार्ग एक एक वृत्ति को पकड़ पकड़ कर चुन चुन कर मार देते. Is only difference. In both cases, Swarupa Avasthanam, here Swarupai Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Okay, Nihitam Guhayam is explained. Guha, Buddhi. Buddhi is the one which is covering the Brahman. Buddhi is covering the Brahman by its own expressions. Its expressions are in the form of Triputi. They are only Buddhi, they are only concept. Buddhi is not reality. It's only a concept. Reality is behind the Buddhi, which is illuminating the Buddhi, which is illuminating all the three of the Buddhis. Buddhis are these three aspects of Jnatru Jnana Jnaya. Therefore, ज्ञातृ ज्ञान ज्ञेय तीनों को इल्यूमिनेट करने वाला ज्ञप्ति स्वरूप सत्यम ज्ञानवंत ब्रह्म is our goal. We can never reach to that till we give value to these three things. Therefore, what is meditation? When you close the eyes, the gneyam is dropped, the jnanam is dropped, then the jnata is dropped. Then that which was illuminating all these three, supporting all these three, when were conceptually taken as these three, expressed as these three, that is recognized. We have exhaustively studied this topic, if you remember, in our Shiksha Valli, when the Mahachamasya Rishi's topic came. Everybody were living life at the three Vyahrutis level. He is the only one who has questioned if there are three variables and three are recognized, there must be a fourth thing which is other than these three, which is be permeating in all the three. Then he discovered it. And when he discovered it, he understood that in the ignorance of this fourth only, the other three were playing, he understood it. And because he discovered it, he called it by his own name. And when he referred it to the Upanishad, Rishi, he said, अरे वही तो हम पहले से बता रहे हैं, इसी को ब्रह्म कहते हैं. अब इसको क्या करना है मुझे? उसको अपने आत्मा के रूप में जानो. फिर क्या होगा? मोक्ष. भोर्भुवः सुवरिति वा एता तिस्रो व्याहृतयः. This is common to all. तासाम उहस्मैताम चतुर्थीम महाचमस्य प्रवेदयते. The fourth one is discovered only by that Mahachamasya Vritti. He named it because he discovered it. Maha iti. When he referred it to the Upanishad Rishi, he said Tad Brahma. Then what to do with that? Satma. Then what about all other things other than that? Anganyanya devata. Then Bhuritva, Agni, Bhuritva, Ayu, Surityati, Mahiti, Brahman. All that explanation. That was Upasana. Now it is contemplation. So, Nihitam Guhayam. All the things heard you may forget. Remember this much, that Buddhi Vijnanamaya Kosha is that where the Triputi is there. First of all, from Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, we have to come to Vijnanamaya. The suffering of the Annamaya of valuing the Jara, Mrityu, Sharira, keep aside for the time being. Then the suffering of hunger and thirst, or the concept hunger of thirst, which is Lakshana Pranamaya, उसको थोड़ा दूर रखो. Mind with all its anti-emotion पहले दूर पे रखो. Come to intellectual inquiry level called as Vijnanamaya Kosha. In that Vijnanamaya Kosha, the functional thing is Buddhi. And that Buddhi always functions in the form of the Triputi, which is a concept. Behind that is hidden the Parabrahma. So what is the entire sadhana? Consciously dropping this Triputi of Gnatru Jnana Jnana. But you can never drop it just like that unless the Jnaya Vastus which are outside are totally devalued by knowing them that they are mithya or they are binding. Only then the Jnanam or the experience for that also can be devalued. Then only the experiencer, the Jnata, can be devalued. Then only that consciousness which is illuminating all these three, that Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, which is covered behind these three, is experienced as myself. This is what meditation पक्का. अब करो या ना करो, आज करो या कल करो या भूल ही जाओ, thing is told. Actually, after listening to this, Tyagane ki Amrita Manasho, leaving everything, one should pursue only to discover that self by giving up all the three. Because it is paraprapti also. It is told, अब गया गुरु ने बोल दिया, आप शिष्य के हाथ में है, leaving everything else. Will you go for it? If you don't go for it, then you are postponing. और कभी भी शुरू करना है तो तभी से शुरू करना होता है जब गुरु से हमने सीखा. आज नहीं, अगले जन्म में यही बात होगी. वो तब भी फिर पोस्टपोन करेंगे. This is how the mind cheats us. That is why when the Guru tells, at that time only, when the Vairagya comes, that time only leave everything and go for it. Yadahareva virajet, tadahareva pravrajet. And the entire world of experiences, gross and subtle, are only concept at the intellect level. Of course, through the indriyas, etc. Even then, there are only unreal concepts only. So, guhayam, guhate samvarnartasya, guhayam asmin, these three things are hidden. So, nigudaha asyam jnatru jnanagneya padartaha iti guha buddhihi. Then, gudhau asyam bhogapavargau purushartho iti va. This bhogapavarga are the purusharthas. Every purusha is going for the bhoga for long time. Then he understands instead of giving happiness, is giving dukkha. Then slowly he wants to get out of it. It's called the apavarga. ये दोनों पुरुषार्थ. Paramatma always is untouched by our concept of bondage, concept of liberation. Paramatma is eternal. He is not a concept. Now, Parame Vyoman has to be explained. Parame Vyoman. We are only understanding what main mantra said, what Bhashyakara said, and slowly we keep that understanding in our awareness when we go for a meditation. So, yo veda nihitam guhayam, यहाँ तक आ गया. अब आगे भी और एक सेंटेंस श्रुति माता ने कहा, that also to explain, and उसका और इससे संबंध क्या है ये भी स्पष्ट रूप से जानना है. It's all when you go to a shop. So 100 things he will put. Then you will look at it, quality, texture, cost, durability, necessity. कितना चलता चलता रहेगा 15-20 मिनट. After that, slowly by neti, you come to 5. Among them also, again, you look for the occasion or the matching or the cost, come to 2. Among those 2 also, you just see to it that only one out of this one. Before you decide that one, what your state of mind is, what is the discussion now, after which we come to the consensus and we have to go through it. To get the clear understanding, we have to go through this exercise once at least. Now, what is the exercise now? What is the meaning of Parame Vyoman? So, for Parame Vyoman, there is another example, explanation is given in another Upanishad. वो quote करके भगवान शंकर says, but that's not the meaning. because it won't help you in contemplating to discover yourself. Satyam Jnanantam Brahma, which is beyond this guha of the buddhi, which is expressing as Triputi. Okay, Vyoman is a Chandasa Parayogam. It should be studied as Vyomni. Vyomni means the seventh case. Adhikarane Saptami. So, Nitam Guhayam. And where is this Guha? Parame Vyomni. What is Parama Vyoma? Let us see the meaning given by Bhashyakara, and he himself says, ये वाला अर्थ यहाँ लेने से उसका फायदा नहीं होगा. देखो जो हमने पहले बताया वही अर्थ है. Okay. What is Parama Vyoma? Let us say. Parame means Prakrushte. Prakrushta means very, very Prakushta means very, very subtle most, very, very ultimate or highest. That's called Prakrushta. Prakrushta Vastu, Prakrushta Vyakti, Prakrushta Gati means the highest. So Parame means Prakrushta means highest. Vyoman means Vyomni means Akashi. So what is the Parama Vyoma? What is the Supreme Akasha? Bhagavan himself is giving the meaning Avyakruta Akhye, which is named as Avyakta. Avyakrita. See, the word meaning itself tells us the meaning. Akriti means we know Akara. Avyakriti means taken Akara in Vishesha Rupa, in so many forms. Avyakrita means which has not taken the shape. Means what? Like the entire banyan tree is there in the seed or not? Seed is this much only. So the tree in the seed is in the Avyakrita, unmanifest. Tree means what? The roots of the tree, the trunk of the tree, the branches of the tree, the secondary branches of the tree, the leaves, all of that is called the whole world. वो सब एक्सप्रेशन से पहले जिस अवस्था में थे उसको अव्याकृत, क्योंकि व्याकृत नहीं हुआ. Therefore, you can call it as Bija Avastha, or you can call it as the Karana Avastha, or you can call it as the unmanifest Avastha. Avyakrita Akasha Parame Vyomni. All this is manifesting, no? And again going to unmanifestation. Therefore, there is some state of unmanifestation from where all these are coming and going back. Avyakrita Akasha. That Avyakrita Akasha alone is called as Avidya, called as Maya, called as Mula Prakriti, called as the Samya Avastha of the three gunas in different contexts. Dekho, when Brahma is Nirguna Nirakara, non-changeable, not a Karana of anything, then there must be something as a Karana for the entire Jagat. Therefore, that Karana is called as Maya, that Maya itself is called as Avyakrita here. Avyakrita Akasha. That is what, in other language, it is an ignorance of Brahman only. That is the whole maja of it. Ignorance of this rope as it became the cause of the snake. Why? We have 100 times discussed during our Mandukya, that when the ignorance of rope is removed by the knowledge of the rope, there is no snake seen. In the rope, there is no snake. In the recognition of the rope, there is no snake. When the rope is not recognized, called as ignorance of rope, there the snake is seen. Obviously, you have to say, what is the cause of the snake? Ignorance of rope. But is there ignorance a substantial thing? It is not. But if it is not substantial thing, how it is creating the snake? We are asking, there is no snake only. Pehle to rope hai, dekh lo. If you discover our rope, your ignorance and your snake both go away. Otherwise, this is an endless pursuit, endless question discussion. How come the ignorance of rope led to snake? This is an endless question. That's why it's called Maya. That is how it is. And you need not struggle so much to worry about it. Why? Because that's being seen by us, na? क्योंकि जब रस्सी को रस्सी देखा, शाम चला गया. So रस्सी को रस्सी नहीं देखा, तो शाम दिखाई दिया. So why are you struggling so much? Instead of pursuing it as it is seen, why you are struggling? But how from the Maya, the Jagat came? Yeah, in Bara Brahma, there is no Jagat. The absence or the ignorance of Parabrahma is called as Maya. It is leading to the Jagat. तुम क्यों worry क्यों हो रहे हो? Never be worried about the Maya as well as Jagat protected out of the Maya. You should be concerned about the Brahma. Discover the Brahma. Then Maya gone, the projected world of multiplicity and samsara also is gone. And to discover the Brahma, the Shruti is there, the Guru is there to teach. The sadhanas of dhyana ityadi are there. Instead of finding it, we get lost in discussing about the cause of the world. But still, Shruti Mata has to a great extent tried to satisfy the pipasa or the jignyasa of the intellect of the listener. Therefore, it is being spoken in so many shastras. So, Parame Vyoman means in the supreme Akasha. It is called Avyakrita Akasha. That itself is called as Avidya or the Maya or the Prakriti, or it is called as the Samya Avastha of the Gunas, where the Vyakritata, the expression into subtle and causal grassal level, has not yet happened. Parame Vyomani means Avyakrita Akasha, which is called as Avidya. Avidya. That's why while studying that third, that Nidra Avastha, Sushupti, we have discussed both there. Sushupti Avastha is simultaneously having two things. One, the ignorance of the Brahman. Second, the Karana, the Bija for the Jagra Swapna. Ignorance of the Atma and the Turiya Avastha, Turiyatma. Other side is it has got Karana of all Jagra Swapna. That's why it's called as Karana Sharira in a Bija Rupa. This is called tendency, they are called vasanas, this is called avidya. Everywhere different words are used. We should not worry about any number of words used. Our point is the understanding. Understanding will be clear. So now, avyakrita akash ke piche chupa hai Parabrahma. There's no ignorance of the Brahman is not allowing me to know the Brahman right now. If you try to know the Brahman for which there are the means, you know it, then the ignorance goes away. I told you while explaining Avarana Vikshepa, see, when the light goes away, the darkness comes. Now, when the darkness goes away, the light comes. ऐसा नहीं होता. If this is understood, you will understand to a great extent the important thought. Like when you put off the light, what came? Darkness. Then what you have to do? Sequentially, remove the darkness, therefore the light will come. But ऐसा नहीं होता वो. When the light is put off, the darkness came. You cannot fight with darkness because it is the absence of light. But you can put on light again, the darkness goes away. In the same way, in the ignorance of the Brahmana, the Maya came, and through the Maya or Avidya, all these Triputis came. Now, you cannot say that I will remove the Triputi Maya, I will remove the Avyakrita Maya, then I will discover Brahman. That is the main point touched here. This Avyakrita Prakriti being not a substantial thing, it is like a darkness, you cannot remove it. What to do? You can discover Brahman. When you discover it, it goes away. Put on the light, the darkness goes away. And the darkness led, problems go away. When the light is off, the darkness came, it created all problems. So, from that side, the self is not known, therefore the ignorance. But from sadhana side, you cannot say, I will remove ignorance, then I will gain knowledge. No, you gain knowledge, ignorance goes. So, know yourself, the real, then the pseudo self of Jiva Deha, they go away. But the pseudo self's importance so much given that it is not allowing us to inquire the real self. That importance we have to reduce a little. Like very nagging child not allowing to cook the food. Nagging but not that much, therefore you are able to cook. It is a better status. In the same way, very nagging ego and extrovertedness, which never allows me to contemplate on my essential self. From that, we have to pacify these things to some extent, which you are doing nowadays by coming to the class regularly, that we pursue the self. When the self is pursued, even this goes away. the pseudo self. So here parame vyoman means avyakruta akya akash. But it is not the context में वो meaning, वो हमको बाद में बताएंगे. But how are you saying that parame vyomni means the avyakruta akasha? No, I won't say anything without any authority. So there's an authority. He says, tadhi paramam vyoma. Because that alone has to be parama vyoma, the avyakruta akasha. Why? Etasminnu khalu akshare gargi akasha iti akshara sannikarshat. Etasmin akshare gargi akasha. Because in that Brihadaranyaka Upanishad said ki very close to that akshara parabrahma is this avyakruta akasha. That is what is said there. In this way, akshara sannikarshatu. That to akshara brahma, this avyakruta is very close. Is it not? It's like, which is very closest to Paramatma? Is the misapprehension or the non-apprehension? I am leaving this question to you for pondering for 10 seconds. Which is very closer to Paramatma? Misapprehension or non? Non-apprehension is very close than the miss. Misapprehension एक step नीचे गिर गया. Therefore, अक्षर का सन्निकर्ष में that non-apprehension is there. That non-apprehension is called as avyakrita because of its proximity. And that's why Nidra is more closer to Paramatma. That's why Nidra में ज़्यादा आनंद है. Jagara Swapna are far away from Paramatma, therefore it's always struggle for Anand. Knowingly or unknowingly, every jiva therefore gives up that struggle in waking dream and enjoys the Nidra every day. But Nidra has its own limitations. Though it is close to Paramatma, but that Nidra is having in its Bija Avastha everything of Jagra Sapna, and there is always the non-apprehension of the reality as self. It is a Jada Anand. Nidra Vala. It is a not conscious because I am not conscious of it. No, it is just happening. I am a log of wood. Now today we are going to study that only in our other text, the Patanjali Yoga Darshanam also. Okay, quotation is given to say that Parame Vyomni means Avyakrita Akasha. But actually Parame Vyomi is the Hridaya Akasha, which is called as Buddhi in the already said topic. That will conclude the conclusion in the next paragraph. Now Tadi Paramam Vyoma Yad Avyakrita Akasha, because Etasminnu Akshare Gargi Akasha iti Akshara Sannikarshat. Underline the meaning of the word Akshara Sannikarshat. The अक्षर बर ब्रह्म के पास में अव्याकृत ज्यादा होता है. That is non-apprehension. Little far are the misapprehensions. Clear? इसलिए कहते हैं तुम मेरे को समझो या ना समझो, गलत मत समझो. Is it not? The half of the problem is solved is when you don't imagine something when you don't know. If this habit is developed of not imagining, 50% problem goes away. Like you have not come to the class. I don't know why you didn't come. You stop it there. If I go on imagining, but I think he has not come because he stopped liking me, or he going somewhere else and all, it's all imaginations. This is called misapprehension. That is called as viparya vritti, which adds to double the misery. Best is what? I don't know. If I have to know, I will ask the person. And that again I have to believe whether the person is speaking true or not. Let them tell. If they don't tell, it's okay. If they don't need to tell, if from their standpoint, why should I know? I am doing my class. उनको जो पढ़ी नहीं है बोलूँ ना बोलूँ मैं क्यों worry करूँ? I am very clear. So I am avoiding that extra burden or samsara. Misapprehensions when you drop, half samsara is gone. Then only we can correctly apprehend it. We can be kind, compassionate to understand maybe health is not good or the mind's not cooperating nowadays. Some other issues might have come. Is it not? You can have the compassionate outlook and you can pray. So all the disturbance go away. Let that person be regular to classes. This is how a guru prays to the God. But if the misunderstanding is there, everywhere so. If you're a boss or your own owner of the house, your servant did not come that day. Did not come is a fact. Why you don't know? Or call on the phone or wait till that person comes. Else, don't imagine. Because it's unreal. It's a viparya vritti. So not knowing is better than misunderstanding. Therefore, आप समझो ना समझो मुझे लेकिन गलत नहीं समझना. Clear? Here also, Avyakrita Akasha is near to the Akshara, then the Vyakrita, Stula Sukshma Jagat. ये तो इतना फंसाता है हमको, Stula Sukshma Jagat. We are all lost in this Stula Sukshma, as if it is so real that the thought that whether you drop it, then only you will reach to yourself. Itself is so frightening that we don't want to do it. क्या कुछ भी हो जाए हमको स्थूल सूक्ष्म में ही शाश्वत सुख चाहिए. अरे मेरे पुत्र, ये स्थूल सूक्ष्म हमेशा बदलता है, मरता है. हाउ कैन यू गेट इट इन द नो, डोंट टेल ऑल दैट वेदांत टू मी. आई वांट परमानेंट हैप्पीनेस इन टेम्पररी थिंग्स. माय डियर, you are such a fool. You yourself are saying the temporary world. How can you expect permanent happiness in that? That jiddiness is called a bhayankara moha samsara. We are all lost in that. We are lost in that so much that nobody is daring to tell us, the gurus, that we are lost in it. And we are lost in that so much that we are not even aware of that. Not even ready to know it. ये जो बड़ा घमासान समस्या है, it has to be actually addressed, but we are not even having arhata for that right now. Maybe little later. Now anyway, come to the topic. Avyakrita Akasha is Parama Vyoma according to the quotation of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Avyakrita is non-apprehension. Where what the literal meaning of Avyakrita means, the Vyakriti into Stula Sukshma has not yet happened. It is an unmanifest form. The example we gave you of the seed of the gigantic, the banyan tree or any tree. है ना, बीज में सारा वृक्ष के संभावनाएं होते हैं. सो द बीज इज द बीज ऑफ द वृक्ष, अनमैनिफेस्ट. Is it not? Like right now, the making of tea or coffee or breakfast is unmanifest in you, bija avastha. When the class is over, then you go for it. Or are you making it right now? किचन में कहीं भी बैठकर वेदांत सुनते हुए काम भी कर रहे. See, the curse are online, but the blessings also. ऑनलाइन नहीं होता, आप 5 भी नहीं मिलते मेरे को. then एक आईना लगाकर मुझे अपने आप को बोलना पड़ेगा. Anyway, so now continuation is what? Ki why this Avyakrita Akasha is very close to the Akshara Brahma. Then why this Avyakrita is called Paramavyoma? We are discussing the word Paramavyomni. Now, in this effort of discussion only, we are slowly coming to the newer understanding that the outer grosser world, the inner subtle world, has its own cause in an unmanifest form. Beyond that is Brahman. But then, unmanifest को तुम छू नहीं सकते. Therefore, how can you go there beyond? Therefore, you have to take the buddhi alone as the hridaya akasha, alone as the avyakrita. Or see paramavyoma. That will be coming to the conclusion. We will see it slowly, slowly. Now, he is giving that's not what we said, it's in the bija. जागृत स्वप्न का बीज ही उस अव्याकृत में है, जो ऑलरेडी बताया. उसी को यहाँ भाष्यकार सिंह ही से कि इति अक्षर सन्निकर्षात् गुहायां व्योम्नि इति वा सामानाधिकरण्यात् अव्याकृत आकाशम एव गुहा. सो यो वेद निहितम गुहायां व्योम्नि is said. गुहायाम इस सप्तमी विभक्ति, गुहा में, व्योमनी आकाश में, वो भी सप्तमी विभक्ति. Therefore, इस अव्याकृत आकाश ही गुहा है. In that Paramatma is hidden. Is one way of saying. Tentatively, probably, because of the language. But sadhana wise, it doesn't suit. Therefore, we take what he said earlier. That conclusion will come. अब भगवान शंकर 2-3 पॉसिबिलिटीज बता रहे फॉर ए स्कॉलरली स्टूडेंट्स. सर, व्हाट इज द परम व्योम? परम व्योम बेटा अव्याकृत आकाश है. व्हाई? बिकॉज वेदी सन्निकर्ष द अक्षर ब्रह्म, देयरफॉर इट शुड बी बियॉन्ड दैट. लाइक देयर 6th house you have to see, 5 houses are covering it. So the fifth house is the one which is very near to that ना. इसके बाद वो next वही है. आप बताते हो ना. In the same way, very close to Brahma, Akshara Brahma is Avyakrita. Therefore, Avyakrita is covering the Brahma. Therefore, Avyakrita itself is Guha. Explanation, which is not final, but it's slowly developing the thought. So, Parame and Vyomni, sorry, Guhayam and Vyomni, both are in the same Samanadikarana called as Saptami Vibhakti. Therefore, Parama Vyoma called as Avyakrita Akasha alone is Guha. What was said earlier? Buddhi is Guha. Now we have to sort out दोनों में कौन सा है. Bhagwan will tell in the next slok. Next line, next para. Our Shankar Bhagwan. So, Parame Vyomni, Avyakrita Akasha. So, Guhayam Vyomni go in the same case. Therefore, Vyoma itself is Guha, one idea. It will be denied. So, this Vyoma, Avyakrita Akasha itself is Guha, in which Brahman is hidden. That is how we can try to understand. We have to deny it later. Then, iti akshar sanikarshat guhayam vyomniti va samanadhikaranya samanadhikarat avyakrita akasham eva guha. Why? Tatra api nigudaha sarve padartaha trishu kaleshu. Remember, the entire world is all the three periods of time in its Srushti Sthiti Laya are niguda in the bija only. This is a very important thought. Every world of Sthula Sukshma is always hidden in their Karana Avastha in the Avyakruta only. Tatrapi nigudaha sarve padartha trishu kaleshu. Why is it so? Because karanatvaatu as well as sukshmataratvacha. Because that avyakruta akasha is the karana. That avyakruta akasha is sukshma. Then the sukshma and stula jagatsa. Therefore, we have to say all the padarthas of stula sukshma are hidden in it, in the avyakruta. So this is a very important discussion. All the Sthula Sukshma are all the periods of time of their Srushti Sthiti Laya or in the three periods of past, present, future are there in the Avyakruta only. Unmanifest. It is called as Tasmin Antahanitam Brahma. So beyond that Avyakruta Akasha, this Brahman is hidden. But dekho, this Avyakruta is unmanifest. How can you fight with it? Or remove it to see the Brahman? So you cannot. Though the Avyakruta is cause for Antakarana, still for sadhana, Antakarana only is useful, not Avyakruta. Like Nidra se Jagrat Sapna Aya. Because of the Jagrat Sapna, Brahman is forgotten. Therefore, what is nearest because of which the Brahman is hidden? What is nearest because of Brahman is hidden is the Avyakruta Nidra only. But can you meditate in Nidra? If you can understand this example, then why Avyakruta Akasha, though it is nearest to Brahman, yet cannot be taken as Guhayam Parame Vyomni in this example, in this shloka, because it won't be helpful for sadhana. साधना जागृत अवस्था में ही होता है ना. तो जागृत अवस्था में बुद्धि होता है. Therefore, buddhi with the triputi is called as the parama vyoma here. Cannot be the avyakrita. Though avyakrita is the cause even for buddhi. That's what I said. Though the light put off the ignorance, darkness came. Because of the darkness only, all the problems happening. Yet you cannot remove the darkness directly. You have to put on the light, then it goes away. In the same way, in the buddhi where triputi is there only we have to do sadhana to discover Paramatma. Though buddhi is not real, though buddhi is also expression of the Avyakrita, though the Avyakrita is near to the Brahman, but it won't help her. Because it's Avyakrita. वहाँ कोई व्यवहार नहीं चलता उधर. It is unmanifest. This you have to clearly understand. Therefore, in the next shloka we are told that Parama Vyoma is not Avyakrita Akasha. Because वहाँ साधना नहीं बनता. So the Paramatma is hidden behind Nidra Avastha. Correct. Because Nidra Avastha is near to Paramatma, that's why he's giving us so much Ananda. And in the Nidra Avastha only are all the beej of Jagra Sapna are there. Absolutely no doubt. Yet, from the sadhana standpoint, because in Nidra you can't meditate to know the self, therefore, Jagrat only we have to take here for sadhana. In the same way, Triputi has come from Avyakruta, no doubt. Yet, Avyakrita cannot be the Parama Vyoma because sadhana is not possible. And why all this has to be said? Because this discussion is happening to tell us the sadhana to be done to reach the Sadhya Brahma. थियोरिटिकली जब बताओगे तो परमात्मा का नहीं जानने को अविद्या या व्याकृत कहते हैं. वही बीज बना जहां से स्थूल सूक्ष्म जगत एक्सप्रेस हुआ. ऑल दैट इज करेक्ट थियोरिटिकल, बट टू डिस्कवर परमात्मा सेम पाथ यू कैनॉट ट्रेस. जस्ट लाइक द सेम एग्जांपल इन निद्रा यू कांट मेडिटेट ना, उपाधि है ही नहीं उधर. ओनली इन जागृत यू हैव टू स्टडी, यू हैव टू डू मेडिटेशन. Though this is unreal, though the cause of the Jagrata is Nidra only, because in Nidra all the bijas are there for Jagrata Swapna. जो कुछ भी we are having in the Jagrata Swapna में, these are all from the Nidra only. Nidra is not sleeping. In the Nidra Avastha, all the seeds of these are there in the seed form. All the cause of Jagrata Swapna, that is why it's called as Sthula Sukshma and it's called Karana. Name is given for that only Karana. बीज रूप में है. Like the tree, from when you sow the seed, the huge tree came. Naturally, you have to conclude the entire tree in its Karana Rupa is there in the seed. In the Bija Rupa, in the seed. Is it not? Here also. But sadhana ke liye kaam ko nahi aega. That's why he says, Hardamevatu paramam vyoma iti nyayam. Nyayam means logical. That parama vyoma should be hardam. Here, hrudaya means buddhi, in which these triputi are happening. In the triputi, because of jnana and jnaya, the jnata is manifested. When the jnanam, jnayam is dropped, the jnata discovers himself to be the Brahma. When the wife or the son is left behind, the husband or the father discovers he is a man. He is always a man. But through the wife, husband, through the child is a father. Then the wife and the child kept away, he will not die. Husband will not die, the son will father will not die. He will discover his original rupa called as a man. If you can understand it, here also in the buddhi where the triputi is happening, in that triputi, the jnata is a jnata because of the jnanam of the jnayam. When the jnayam is dropped, the jnanam is dropped, then the jnata will not die. He will become jnapti. That is called a Brahma Swarup. These are all to be clearly understood. Then when we sit on the meditation, our meditation will be meaningful. Then later on fruitful also. देखो ये सारे विद्या पहले से हमको पढ़ाते होते, अब तक स्पष्ट आ जाता था. एटलीस्ट नाउ वी स्टार्टेड, वी शुड नॉट लीव इट. चैलेंज के रूप में लेना है इसको, ये सब हम समझेंगे. एंड व्हाट कैन मेक यू टेक इट एज चैलेंज? ओनली वन थिंग कॉल्ड श्रद्धा. That what Shruti Mata is saying, the experience the Rishi Muni, every Rishi Muni who are at this experience are liberated. Therefore, we also can become like liberated when we study and understand Shruti. ये श्रद्धा है तो करेंगे. अदरवाइज मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, ऐसा कुछ चीज है कि नहीं, आई डोंट नो, बट द वर्ल्ड ऑफ शब्द स्पर्श रूप रस आर वेरी मच देयर. आई एम इन्वॉल्विंग देम, इंडल्जिंग इन देम, दे गिव मी प्लेजर. सो दिस इज रियल, आई विल कंटिन्यू दिस. If this way we continue, and if we don't have the Shraddha, we can never be spiritual seekers. This is one thing. हार्दमेव तो परमं व्योमतम इति न्यायम वै विज्ञान अंगत्वेन व्योम्नः विवक्षितत्वात्. विज्ञान अंगत्वेन उपासना अंगत्वेन व्योम्नः विवक्षितत्वात्. Because the word vyoma is brought here for explaining us and also for a sadhana. And the avyakruta vyoma cannot be used for sadhana. Therefore, Here Vyoma means Hrudaya Akasham, which is Buddhi, in which these Triputi are there. So don't go to mean the meaning of the word Vyoma as Avyakrita for the sake of sadhana here, because Avyakrita word is used here for sadhana. Because Parame Vyom नहीं, बता रहे ना परम व्योम में है, तो परम व्योम एक्चुअल मीनिंग इज अव्याकृत, बिकॉज दैट इज नियर टू द सेल्फ. बट अभी साधना के लिए वो काम को नहीं आएगा. therefore we don't take the meaning of param vyoma as avyakrita, then we take it as buddhi guha, we take it as the triputi. So here only we have to do sadhana and upasana. And what is the upasana here? The upasana is rejecting the triputi and discovering the Brahma Tattva. So before Vedanta heard, the upasanas are the Ishtadeva upasana, etc. for the Antakarna Shuddhi, for the Ekagrata. After listening to Vedanta, the upasana is discovering the Brahman by rejecting or transcending the Triputi. All else was only explanation so far, bringing us to this clarity. Parabrahma is not known, it is called the Avyakta, that has become the Bija. From there, Sthula Sukshma Jagas evolved. In that we are lost now. Ye sara exercise jugglery ka. Final outcome is what? To discover Brahma, we have to do the Upasana. The Upasana is rejection of this Triputi. So that which is a substratum of these three, from where all these three are coming, staying, going, that's what should be our goal now. Clear? Now, next topic comes is conviction about the buddhi only as the meaning of avyakrita. So, yes, parame vyoma. There we have to discover the Brahman hidden. And when he is discovered as my own self, the Falashruti is so shnute sarvan kaman saha brahmana vivasteti. This sentence is so beautifully explained by Bhagavan, which fills our heart with such a clear understanding, after which we will never have confusion. Maja aayega. Even if it takes an extra day, we try to analyze every word and understand. Very essential it is. So don't miss tomorrow and day after class in your own interest. Thank you. Om, 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 Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavajishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Paramarshibhyo Parabrahmane Shruti Matre Namam Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. Let us study Yoga Darshanam.